Obviously, the run defense did not go the way you wanted it to this last game. What did you see when you looked at the film?
I didn't do a good job, man, preparing our guys. There was a lot of things that are fixable on tape. Uh, we weren't in place where we needed to be, and obviously that comes from me. I got to teach it better. We got to have a better plan moving forward. Giving up that many yards, that's the first time in a long time for me. I don't even remember the last time I gave up that many yards. So I got to go back to drawing boards and make sure we're on the same page.
When it comes to doing that, have there been any discussions with yourself and other coaches, position coaches, about trying to introduce some different players, give other guys some looks?
I don't think it's so much the players, more like assignments. When we went back and we broke down the 15 plays, it was like, you know, guys should have been at certain position. It just seemed like their eyes weren't, was nowhere near where they needed to be. There's certain keys that you need to key. Well, obviously, guys are not in place. So obviously it start with me, make sure that we make it clear. But I don't think it's a personnel type of deal.
When coaches and players talk about losing gap integrity, what does that mean? And then how does something like that happen?
Well, the defense is assigned. Everybody's got a gap they're assigned to. So when a guy's not in there, like we're running a stunt, a guy's supposed to be in the B gap, he's not in the B gap. That's what that meant. Or a guy's supposed to be in the A gap, but he's swimming and getting hatted and be in the B gap instead of the A gap. Those things. Or we call a pressure, you're supposed to be in a certain gap and guys are not in that gap. That's what that means. And like I said, those are correct, the things we could correct.
Is that a lack of discipline, or is it guys trying to do too much? What do you?
Well, that's a question I've been, battling for the last couple of days. Is it we're putting too much, on them, weekly? You got to remember, we get 20 hours. There's 11 personnel they got to deal with. There's 12 personnels. There are 13s. There are different packages, and everything has a different assignment to it. So my job is to try to eliminate some of that thinking so they can play faster.
Jeremy seemed to kind of take responsibility for that with the linebacker group, saying they weren't getting into the gaps, fundamental tackling. Just having a guy like that who's like, hey, that's on us, we got to do better. What does that do for your defense moving forward?
I think it tells you the leadership that they have and that they trust in the scheme. The scheme is standing the test of time. I mean, has won a lot of championships. So it's so much me and my staff, teaching it the right way and make it simple for our guys and put our guys in place and make plays. It's nice that they say that, but it's me. I got to make sure I coach better.
What about the tackling issue? I mean, Coach Fish said you're not going to tackle during the season, pretty much. So how do you get better in that area without?
Today we're going back to fundamentals, going back to like spring ball. Going back to tackling, going back to all the little things, take on blocks, shedding blocks, using your hands, make sure your eyes in the right place, footwork. It all starts there. When things are not going right, it's not to blame, it's to go back to the fundamentals of the game and doing things right.
As you look and you're evaluating, how much is technique, guys getting turned, and how much is it the gap integrity and assignment on the line?
It's technique, especially this time of season. Guys kind of abandon the techniques and play more assignment and trying to play the play instead of defeating your man and being in the same gap and using your hands and getting off blocks. Whenever you see the ball going to second level, that means our defensive linemen are not getting off of blocks or not using proper techniques. So that's my job to go back this week and try to fix that.
Is it safe to say that your guys are physically and mentally locked down?
I can't answer that. I don't know that.
Brennan, Jordan Morgan, probably maybe the most improved offensive lineman, one of the most improved players on the team. What do you think is behind that?
I think it's just believing in the process and the plan that we laid out for him and really all of our guys. It's a combination of one having the physical tools, which he does have, and it's working on those. He's spent all this time. He's been a fantastic weight room guy for us ever since we got here, and he's bought in. His body's made great changes. He can lift as good as anybody I can remember at this level. So he's a kid that with the background that we started off with was a different offense, different scheme. It takes a minute. It takes a minute to get get comfortable with it. And he's been great. All the guys on the line of fundamentally, schematically, have bought into what we're teaching. We're in year 2 in this thing, so it takes time, and the kids put in the right effort. And he's been great. He's been a great leader. So if you can handle all those things, good things will come.
You know what an NFL offensive lineman looks like. You've coached them. You've been around them. Does he have what it takes to become that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's now the difference between an NFL lineman and a college lineman is experience, and you don't have all the same experiences as you do when you played in the NFL for a couple of years. But he's on the right trajectory to become not just a good lineman. He could be one of the great ones.
He talked about his NFL aspirations a minute ago. What is it going to take for him to get to that level?
Just consistency. That's really what it is. It's consistency and trust in technique. He's shown that he can do it over 4 games. He's just in terms of grading, he's graded out very well in all the games, especially fundamentally. So you have to keep doing it and keep trusting it, and then it's just you find your rhythm, and then and then sometimes you got to break it down and go back to basics. And why did I start here? Why did I do this? And you just keep working through the issues, and you keep solving problems. And he's done a great job with that.
Johnny, do you have any left-handers playing quarterback this week for Scout?
I don't think we have one in the program, do we?
I think one of the wide receivers, maybe. One of the starting wide receivers is left-handed, I think. So I don't.
If you need me, I'll come over. I can throw lefty a little bit, Johnny.
We'll get one of our
down?
GAs so we can tackle better too.
You can tackle me.
Brennan, do you know offhand how many blitz pickups the offensive line made in the last game? Successful.
All I know is they blitz more than they normally do, and that the pressure issues weren't from that. So we did pretty good picking up their stuff, and I don't know. I'm backwards thinking like this. I don't think we should ever get hit. The quarterback should ever get touched. So going through the first couple of games, our numbers are okay, but I did 0 is the right answer.
Well, anyway, after watching the game the second time, I saw the offensive line pick up blitzes a handful of times. What does that say about? Well, first of all, what is the process of doing that, and then what does it say about the progress?
Yeah, the process is repping it in practice, and just there's never enough. We get some great reps going against our defense because they'll heat us up a couple times during the week with go good on good, and those are my favorite periods because I know we're getting the best looks regardless if it's actually marries up with what we're going to get in the game. Doesn't matter. We just need to be able to solve problems on the fly because they can come up with something new per week anyway. So getting those reps against these guys has been fantastic. And then really just great communication. Baker's done a great job communicating, and the guys have been able to echo the communication so that we're all on the same page, that's as crucial as anything.
Well, Johnny, whether it's linebackers or defensive ends, what does some of those young guys need to show you in practice to earn your trust for you to?
I think it's not so much what they can show me. I think I got to do a better job how to manage their reps. So I got to do a better job this week. You're probably going to see a lot of guys playing, but I got to manage their reps when they get the reps, So usually when we get down in the red zone, I'd rather have our best guys in there, So that part of the game, I got to still, we're working on it right now. Matter of fact, we're discussing that right now.
Has that been a learning process for you? I mean, you've not been in this position before.
A little bit, because, I handle substitution at other places. But now you're trying to handle substitution, you're trying to make correction, you're trying to call the game. There's a lot, but my staff and I are going to fix it.
As you're learning that and going through that process of growing as a coach, do you turn to Coach Walker, who's been in your position before at other areas?
I think it's so much the way we prepare during the week. It's how we're going to sub during practice. It should be the same way we sub during the game, everybody's have their input. And, the best thing is you got to practice at practice. And that's how it's going to happen in the game.
We talked a lot about Josh's Josh Baker's snapping issues. He seems to like he's gotten a lot better in that area. But the other parts of his game, where have you seen him grow from like week 1 to week 4?
Yeah, Josh is. It's been 1 week, so 1 clean week, so that's not enough. But yeah, Josh is just his command of the offense, and really understanding where we need to go, where things need to be directed, in his communication. And once you can communicate it, and that's not your main focus anymore, now you can go just work on technique, just work on the fundamentals, just to going against your opponent. So if your brains gets clogged up, and this isn't for Josh, but if you're as a center, if you're not focused on all you got to think about is a snap, well then you got other things that you're missing. Or if who am I going to? I'm not sure. If there's any lack of communication or lack of playing fast, it can lead to negatives and other things, which is why he's been able to be successful, because he's had a great command of the offense, great control over what he wants to do and how to communicate it, and he's been able to execute that way.
Johnny, how did Isaiah Taylor do in his first extended action?
He did okay, There was a couple of times just feel like he was out of place at times, you know what I mean? But that happens, this is really his first time playing. So, my message to him is always to all the kids, just be ready. You never know when your time's going to come. But when it comes, you got to be ready to play.
On the touchdown on the first play of the fourth quarter, was safety supposed to be in that?
Yeah, but that's on me. It's on me. I should have never put the kid in that place. Yeah.
The kid being Isaiah Rutherford?
One of the safeties. Yeah.
Oh, one of the safeties was where he needed to be in that. Brennan, is their defense basically the same as last year?
I would say it's probably similar to the teams that they've played, and the way that they've played them. It doesn't look as much the same, but I think they're basically structured the same way. We'll see how much they adjust to what we do, how much they've been showing so far on film, but there should be some carryover.
I don't know if the word was desperate or hungry or something, the way Fish described Colorado the first time he mentioned them. But what is the danger that presents when a team's coming in here that really needs to turn things over?
Yeah, when there's college football games or any football game, that's why they play the games, right? So those guys are, just like us last year. We're not that we're talking about last year, but we're trying to win at any cost and find a way. And that hasn't really changed for us this year. So let's go find a way to win a game. However we can do it, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, find a way to win.
Johnny, how would you game plan against a left-handed quarterback without having the ability to mimic that?
Well, obviously there's certain things, hash marking the game that you have to be aware of, because they like to roll them out. But we try to prepare the same way.
Brennan, four games in, coming up to the fifth, what have you seen on film as far as trying to get a little bit more consistency with the tempo and the running and some of the things that you're starting to see that you want to work on going into this game?
Yeah, I want our guys to play really physical. I think we can execute that style of play, and I think we were getting close to doing it in this past game. But we didn't do very good coming out of halftime, so we got to improve on that. That's a huge deal for us. We've got the lead in the game, and then we don't go add to it. That's not good on our part. We got to fix that. So I think we had that little lapse right there really hurt us.
Does that physicality help with the tempo and the rest getting into it?
Yeah, it's more of a think of it as like a 12-round fight. Like they may not be there early, but if you keep banging on it and keep rolling those 3 techniques and shades out of there, and eventually somebody's going to step out of the gap, and then you got a chance for a big play. So, yeah, that's a huge part of what we're trying to get done, and we'll just keep hammering on it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.